Today we have a show for you. Gang, we're going to be talking about the Texas border crisis. Recently, the Supreme Court allowed a law that allows Texas police to deport migrants that they suspect of being illegal immigrants. However, this has been put on hold, right, by other appeals courts, right? It's still going through the system. But I wanted to talk today about the Texas border in general. Is there a crisis at the border? Is this being overblown? Is this something that people are just overly worried about when they don't have to? We've got some great guests today to talk about it. Special thanks to Socrates for being willing to fill in last minute. But yeah, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about immigration, the pros, the cons, whether or not Biden's doing a good job, whether or not there's a crisis at the border, and what we should do about it, if anything. And we're going to start with first-time guest on my panel, Lefty JC. Give us your take and tell us who you are. Okay.
Okay. I'm the artist formerly known as Lefty Jesus. I now go by the Big JC. I'm 2 steps to the left of a social democrat and about 5 steps to the right of the rest of the left these days, it seems. And I think that with regards to the Texas border, it's pretty it's pretty cut and dry. Federal government has supremacy over the border. Governor Abbott is acting in flagrant violation of the Constitution. In my opinion, he should be impeached and thrown into federal prison.
Okay, we're starting strong. Next up, we have Tuna Chip, no stranger to my show.
What's going on, Wick? What's going on, people? Strangely enough, people call me lib chip all the time. This is going to be one of my more right-wing positions, which is mostly that the border is in crisis because the public deems it to be so. When it comes to the question of like whether or not we should deport people that come in or don't come in, either we think that we need to set a precedent, which is a law that we all believe in, and then deport people based on that, or we need to just reevaluate where that law is. Like, I don't think that anybody should be shocked when a law starts getting enforced. That shouldn't be the thing you should be complaining about, of all things.
Okay, thanks for being here, and we'll see how it goes. Next up, a last-minute replacement, but someone who's always first in my heart, Socrates. Thoughts on immigration? Go ahead.
Yeah, so as Vic said, I was last minute on this, so I literally don't know anything about this bill. So I'll go a little bit more general when it comes to immigration. So economically, immigration is a boon. Makes everybody richer. It makes everything a little bit culturally more interesting. Get some nicer food, some interesting people to talk to. Um, Crime goes down because immigrants commit less crime than natural born citizens, and especially illegal immigrants commit less crime because they're already in a precarious situation. They don't want to be committing crimes and then getting deported. So I think there's a lot that needs to be fixed about our immigration system. But the idea that immigrants coming in is like the number one thing that we need to be terrified of in the world when we are moving potentially toward nuclear armament and we're heading toward climate disaster, and we have just normal economic issues. I think it's a pretty ridiculous situation.
Well, thank you for being here, and I appreciate it, and we'll get into it as we go. Next up, Tyler, average debate enjoyer. Go ahead.
Kind of a Bill Clinton liberal. I joined the Democratic Party when the Democrats were very strong on border security. So that's kind of what I'm rooted in. Going from that, I would say if your definition of a border problem is that we have 7 million people that have entered the country, then yes, there's a big problem. I don't think the Democrats see it that way. Minus the 2 million gotaways, the 5 million others that have come into the country are intended policy of the Democratic Party to bolster the economy. They have been soft on illegal immigrants for the last 15 years, allowing them in and fighting against getting them deported. The way we currently have laws structured in the federal government you have the authority to deport, but you're not required to do it. I think this Texas lawsuit links in because it allows Texas to execute on these federal authorities and privileges in a way the federal government's supposed to be and not.
Okay, thank you for that, and we'll get into it as we go. Next up, the person who brought me this topic, Admiral Gibbs. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the Texas border, Texas is doing the job the U.S. government refuses to do. The traitorous lawmakers up in Washington, D.C. have deemed the southern border just a failed state and are allowing people to come along wholesale, willy nilly. And the only place that's stopping this is Texas. We've managed to put up barriers that have been proven to be effective and stop immigration. We've stopped this every time we've done it, and the government's come in and torn them down and just done treasonous behavior all around. We've been sitting here asking for help, and no one thought it was a problem until we shipped these people to other cities where all of a sudden they didn't have the infrastructure like we haven't had the infrastructure, and now it's a crisis that's being an issue across the nation. So, as I was saying, basically, long story short, Dims, poo poo on you. Maybe actually get your shit together and stop giving us bullshit bills.
Okay, thank you for being here. I'm sure we'll get into it as we go. Last up, Sociologic Ali. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, immigration good. I think immigration is good. We need more people. We need different people. This seems to bring more spice and fun to the country. Illegal immigration is bad, but honestly, I only think it's bad because they don't have social security numbers and we don't know who they are. If we can find them, I feel like it costs more money to deport them than it would be to just find them, find them, and give them their fucking social security. Now you make money off the illegal immigrants. They're probably less likely to want to be illegal if they get caught. You can turn them into immigrants, and we can make money off of them. So yeah.
That's a take. Gang, and once again, just full disclosure, I do get a check from Progressive Victory, right? They aren't paying for this content.
What?
But I know, it's crazy. I do get that, so full disclosure.
You're not in the,
I don't
the
think anyone else
alumni,
here
are you?
does. And with that, we're going to open it up to just general discourse. If you have trouble getting in, please either raise your hand or DM me, and I'll try to make space for you. But with that, open talk. Go ahead.
Well, we
I
can all-
actually wanted to get into a response to Sock's thing, and I'm not trying to use Sock as a punching bag. I just know him well, so this is going to be a little bit
Punch
a
me.
thing. So you're one of your
Give me your
main
hardest shot.
one of the main arguments on the pro-immigration side is the economic argument, which is essentially that as we take people in through the border, they fill parts of the market that are not being worked by other people, often ones that are desperate to be worked, some that frankly are paid below what we would consider a living wage. We also talk about that living wage and that cost of living crisis that's happened and is exacerbated by this effect. My argument against this is that the entire world is the United States economy. There are jobs that need to be done in other parts of the world, wrapped into our economy, and it actually creates more jobs in the places where jobs are needed to keep people out of the border and to force those countries to play ball on the world economy stage rather than taking in more workers into a sector that is already overbloated. Immigration is justifiable when the work that is coming in makes sense to be localized inside of the United States, but sometimes you need people to exist inside of other countries where there are resources to be extracted, there are logistics setups to be built, such as in Africa, where China is making amazing strides doing development, but the United States doesn't really have a foothold, and probably because the only relationship we have is taking in migrants as opposed to creating like good, safe, sanctioned trade with them.
So that's an argument for more trade, but is there any actual direct connection between that thing? Is there some study that shows, oh no, we've taken all of the, people who would be mining for resources somewhere in as immigrants and now mining isn't happening? Has that happened anywhere ever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's
So-
all sorts of examples of that. We'll take. It often happens a lot more in the creative sectors, and if you look at different types of employees, creative being like doctors and lawyers and things like. We take other nations' smartest people
Sure.
off, and then they're really
Like a
depleted.
brain
on that.
drain.
Yeah, exactly.
That occurs. Yeah, on the like high skilled labor side, that can occur. Absolutely, yeah.
What does that
Well,
have to
it-
do with the Texas border situation?
I can give it a pretty clear example in terms of the low, which is you don't have to look towards the other nation. You just have to look at where the United States economy is right now, which is that we are restricting the number of low barrier to entry jobs. We are making it so that people have to work multiple of them at few hours in order to accept the pay. Like the environment's already competitive on an axis where most of the jobs that are being filled that are the low access jobs are being filled by people that have felonies, usually from drug addiction charges. Like I'm not seeing enough space in the economy in the places that I've looked at. Now, how does removing that labor from other countries affect them? It's not so much that on that part in terms of the low value labor. I'm mostly saying that the low value labor is not doing us any favors. It's not.
Well, so our economy is getting better as a result. Jobs that need to be done are getting done.
Wait, according to who?
Joey,
According
if
to
you're-
who?
According to most metrics these
Yeah,
days,
yeah.
the economy
They
seems
are
to be
right.
quite good. Yeah,
Mhm.
not
But
sure
just
that's
to-
something that can be contested.
But
Within
just to
4
respond
generations.
to this question around brain drain, I mean, there's absolutely a case when you want to talk about, humanitarian issues in other countries. But I thought we were talking about, if you're someone who's like, I care more about people in other countries than my own kind of patriotic love for America and our own economy. That's something, I'm a hippie lefty guy. I love that. We can talk about that. But I thought we were talking about some kind of issue that's like negatively affected the United States. Us having more doctors, but other countries losing their doctors.
Hold on, we're not having
that's
more
not.
doctors. That's not what's happening. Hold on. Are y'all trying to argue
Well, that was average
people-
debate enjoyer's point.
Well, whoever made that point, they're an idiot. I'm sorry. That's not happening. That's not what's going down here at the Texas border. We have millions of people coming across with no skills, and they get here and they just come in and we
How
have to
many?
house them. Millions. It was, what was it last year?
Like a number, like how
3.5?
many millions?
7.4
3.5.
million.
All right,
was the
January.
most census.
January we had
Hundreds of
72,000.
millions.
Like they had, and then the Shelby Park, they had like 2,500 just in 3 days. I mean, like these are thousands upon thousands of people. It's a mass influx of human bodies that are coming across the border, and it's not. Oh Lordy, the doctors are coming, boys. The doctors are coming, and they're gonna give us more doctors, and they're giving us more engineers. No, it's unskilled, uneducated labor, and it's a drain on the economy. It's a drain on the infrastructure.
Is there
So let's just go ahead and throw
Hold
that.
on,
Hold
It's
on.
country ever.
One at a time. One at a time.
Yeah,
Go
let's
ahead,
just
finish.
throw that bullshit point out. Like
Was it-
it's not like it's some like
Hold
brain
up.
drain coming.
In
Okay.
Texas,
I had
wasn't
a
there
question.
a
Hold
meat
on.
packing
We're gonna
factory
go to
that was-
Ali, then we're gonna go to JC, and then we're gonna go to Tuna Chip. Apparently, go ahead.
Like we can argue that they're coming here and they're not doing work, but wasn't there a meat factory that was literally hiring 16-year-old illegal immigrant Mexicans and giving them fake IDs and fake jobs? So they are working, they are doing things. It's not like people are coming here and like just sitting down. If they're able to reap any type of like social security or any type of welfare, any of that, like then they should be able to be put to work. I don't understand why you wouldn't just put them to work if you're,